Hello, this is Ernest Burley, your CIA, your cool insurance agent, back at you again with some more great information on insurance. I'm a licensed insurance agent with over 30 years experience with clients all across the country. My areas of expertise in insurance covers a wide range. So life insurance, long-term care, auto, home, disability, church policies, business policies, professional liability, etc. So the purpose of this podcast is to educate you, to empower you, to enlighten you with unbiased, clear, and objective information so you can make the right decisions for you and your family. That's what it's all about, just making sure you have good information in hand, okay? So let's just get right at it. I don't like the long intros, but I want to tell you a little bit about myself, okay? All right, so the podcast today is titled Real Estate, Pay Off the Mortgage Early or Not, okay? So please listen to my other podcast titled Real Estate or Real Mistake. I go over a lot of information about owning real estate and whether it's a real estate situation for you or a real mistake based on your situation. So I really would encourage you to check out that podcast and take a look or listen at what I was discussing there and see what makes the most sense for you. But regarding our current podcast, Real Estate, Pay Off the Mortgage Early or Not, here's what I want to talk about. I want you to just do what is in your best interest. I want you to think. In most cases, it is not in your best interest to pay off the mortgage early. I know that's surprising to some people. They're like, what? That's what you hear out there, right? Pay off the mortgage early, pay off that mortgage early. So I'm going to go over 6 points as to why I don't think that's always a good decision. So you want to be wise and practical about what's best for you, okay? So first point I want to make regarding whether to pay off the mortgage early or not. You want to make sure your retirement funding and your emergency savings are your primary focus. Cash gives you more options. It sounds good to have a paid off house when you retire or by the time you retire, but then what are you going to retire on? You're going to retire on that house? You're going to use money from the house? I don't think so. So once your retirement fund and your emergency savings are good to go, then you look at the options of possibly paying off the mortgage early. Okay, that's point number one. Point number two, real estate is an illiquid asset. It's going to tie up your money. So you can't cash in the front door or rip some shingles off the roof or sell some windows out of your house to get cash. Once the money is in there, it's in there. It's an illiquid asset, right? So that's point number two about whether to pay off the mortgage early or not. Point number three, to realize the use of any cash in the home, which is called equity, right? If you have any equity in the home, you'll have to borrow the money and pay interest on it. Yes, you have to borrow your own money. So if you plowed extra money into the house, in order to get the money out of the house, you have to borrow it from the bank, the mortgage company, right? And pay interest on that money. Yeah. Okay. So are you thinking now? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Point number four. You must have equity in the home in order to borrow money out of the home. So this means that your house has to be worth more than you owe on it. So if you're upside down, say if the real estate market goes like it did in the Great Recession, and you're upside down, which means you owe more on the house than it's worth, then you're not going to be able to get any of the money out of the house in the first place because you owe more on the house. You don't have any equity in the home. So that's point number four. Okay. Yeah. Think. Okay. Now, point number five. Having cash gives you the option to retire comfortably and enjoyably and or pay off the mortgage early. So once you get your retirement situated, your emergency savings situated, you can retire comfortably and be able to do the things you want to do and then make a conscientious decision and say, okay, is it in my best interest to use some of this money to pay off my mortgage early? Now, I hate debt with a passion too, and I encourage you to do the same thing. But you have to do that what makes sense, what's practical, what's working in your best interest. So check this out. For example, if you pay $1,000 extra per month into your mortgage for say 10 years, right? So that's 12 months, $12,000 times 10 years. That's $120,000 that you would have poured into the home, extra above your mortgage payment. Now, I know some people are saying, well, yeah, if I do that, then I'll save like the 3 or 4 or 5%, whatever your mortgage, whatever your interest rate is, you'll save that interest on the money, right, that you paid in, right? Because you paid that money early as opposed to paying interest on it. Okay. But what if you took that same $1,000 per month and you put it into your 401k plan? That $120,000, if you earn 10% a year on it, it will be worth over $200,000, right? So instead of having 120, you'd have $200,000 added to your 401k plan. And if you earn 15% a year on that money, you'd have almost $280,000, like over double your principal, over double the $120,000 in your 401k plan. Okay. So what is better? Having that extra money in the house, or having an extra $200,000 or almost $300,000 in your 401k plan to use when you retire? Okay. Point number 6, selling the home versus keeping the property. Look at the pros and cons of selling the property versus keeping it. Okay. Do what's logical and what's in your best interest. Is it better for you to, like, keep the home? And this is another point. If you plan on selling the home soon after retirement, why would you want to pour all the money into the home? Okay. If you plan on staying in the home, still wait until retirement. And then if you want to start paying it off early, then okay, I can understand that if that fits within what you have saved up for retirement to live comfortably on. Okay. But do what makes sense for you. And some people say they want to pass property on to future generations, but does it make sense to keep it for that? Now, take emotions out of it. Now, I'm not insensitive to that. I know some people say, hey, it's my mom's house, my dad and my mom lived there, what have you. I get that. But try to take some of the emotion out and say, okay, what works in the best interest of myself and my family? So if you sell the home and you get the cash coming out of it, you can do a lot with that cash by, being a blessing to your children or your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, or what have you. And they can use that money to buy their own house later on. So their cash just gives you many more options and more flexibility. So I'm just saying, think about it. Think about what makes sense for you in your situation. Don't just go off of the old myth, oh, you got to pay that mortgage off early. Just think, okay? And that's it. That's it for our podcast today. The recap is think. What makes the most sense for you based on what we just discussed today? Also, the major takeaway for today is cash gives you options, while real estate is an illiquid option that ties up your cash, right? So I'm not anti-real estate. I'm all about what makes sense. What makes sense based on your financial situation and based on future planning for your situation, okay? I want to thank y'all for listening to my podcast. I really appreciate y'all listening in every week. It's a pleasure to meet with you. I ask that you share this podcast with others and ask them to share it, and so on and so on and so on, so these podcasts can become viral. If you want to connect with me, I'm on Gmail. So ernestburleyjr@gmail.com. It's just my full name at Gmail. So ErnestBurleyjr@gmail.com. Or you can call my firm at 301-262-2600. Again, that's 301-262-2600. All of my podcasts are on YouTube, so please jump onto YouTube. My YouTube channel is just my name, Ernest Burley Jr., and encourage others to do the same, to go to my channel. And hopefully we get some subscribers. So if you guys subscribe and encourage people to subscribe, I have a ton of videos on there that talk about various aspects of insurance and also things like this, real estate and succeeding in your career. I have a ton of different topics on there, and also some short little ones, like 1 minute. So you just get something real quick, right? So I think there's some information on there that can help you and your family, most definitely, because that's my passion, making sure that everyone has good information, good sound information, that they can make good decisions for themselves and for their families, okay? So that's it for today. I appreciate y'all coming in. This is Ernest Burley, your CIA, your cool insurance agent, signing off. Until we speak again, y'all take care and be safe.